So my title is Vice President of Global Licensing and Brand Partnerships, and I work in a division of Universal Music Group called Bravado. And Bravado is responsible for merchandise and branding across our roster of artists. And we have 185 plus artists on our roster, so it's very diverse across all genres. We look at the opportunities and how we work with artists from an external base, so outside of the music. So licensing covers all product categories and all areas. That's health and beauty, food and beverage, footwear, clothing, anywhere where it kind of makes sense for the band and the brand to kind of turn up. I come from the brand and fashion world. I've been at Bravado almost 6 years now, and I was brought in to really look at how we work as a brand, because the music merchandise business has changed. It's no longer purely a focus on a revenue stream, although that is a large and important part, but it's more looking at how we drive the equity of the artist and support the artist, and look at it through experiential, look at the opportunities, the moments, and how we support on what the artist's activity is. That activity could be tour, it could be an album release, or it could be an anniversary. It's changed in the way that it's a 360 viewpoint. It's no longer purely transactional. So we look very much about driving the narrative, basically the storytelling element of it. So it's not just purely looking at how again we drive that revenue stream, but how do we elevate the artist? How do we communicate the artist to their super fans and their fan base? But then how do we grow that fan base as well? So we work with a lot of third-party companies, brands and partners who will have their own following. The ideal here is that we introduce the artist to maybe a new audience, or an audience that's not might be tapped into them as much as their fan base, and how we grow them. Hundreds I'm very proud of, because I've got a great team that work very, very hard. I'm not going to name one. I'll name a couple if I can remember them, because there's more than one that, to do it justice. I think back in 2022 we launched a collaboration between Elton John and Palace Skateboards. If you look at that just in that one sentence, it doesn't make sense at all. But if you dig deeper, Palace had a history with Elton John through an unofficial route before. We wanted to make that official. Elton John and his team are very much clued up in fashion, so they're aware of Palace as a brand. So bringing those two together, no one from the outside looking in would have imagined that could happen or would happen, but when it did happen, it got an amazing response. So we brought a product collection to life that included the normal kind of clothing of t-shirts, hoodies. We had Elton John's face on a skateboard, we had a Elton John Palace rug, all of a riff on his LA Dodgers show, and the kind of crowning glory of the whole thing is Elton appeared in the video for it as well. So we have a lot of artists that we cover their tour merchandise for. So we worked with Selfridges London, and we took over a space in their store, and every week we put a new artist in and new tour merch in. So it was a revolving space which got refreshed weekly. So we were bringing what you'd normally only be able to get if you had a ticket to go on tour, to go on the gig. We were bringing that to another space, and so we're expanding upon the artist's opportunity to interact with their audience. When people say that they love their job because every day is different, I say working for what we do with the amazing roster that we have that covers so many artists that are 1 year in the game, 5 years, 50 years across all genres, every email is different. Every hour is different. We work across product categories and companies. We work on physical, we work on digital, we do pop-up stores, we work on collaborations with brands on e-commerce sites. We bring product to fashion catwalks in Paris and Milan with our artists. So the fact that I never know what a typical day is, or a typical hour or meeting is, just because it's so diverse.